আসসালামু আলাইকুম। আমি ওয়ার্ল্ড ওয়াইড এডুকেশন অ্যান্ড মাইগ্রেশন সার্ভিস থেকে সাইফুর রহমান বলছি। আমরা বরাবর মতোই অনেকগুলো লাইভ সেশন নিয়ে আসছি আপনাদের কাছে এই লকডাউন সিচুয়েশনে, যাতে আপনারা ঘরে বসে আমাদের ইউনিভার্সিটি গুলো নিয়ে সঠিক ইনফরমেশন গুলো পেতে পারেন। আপনাদের কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকলে সেই কোশ্চেনের আনসার গুলো যাতে পেয়ে যান, কনফিউশন যাতে ক্লিয়ার হয়, এবং পরবর্তীতে আপনাদের অ্যাপ্লিকেশনের জন্য যে প্রিপারেশনটা সেটা যেন আপনারা ঘরে বসে কমপ্লিট করতে পারেন। তো সেই ধারাবাহিকতায় আমরা আজকে আমাদের সুইনবার্ন ইউনিভার্সিটিকে দ্বিতীয়বারের মতো নিয়ে এসেছি। আজকে অবশ্য একটা স্পেশাল সেশন, কারণ আজকে আমরা শুধু আইটি বা কম্পিউটার সায়েন্স সাবজেক্ট রিলেটেড ইনফরমেশন গুলো শেয়ার করব। আমাদের সাথে উপস্থিত আছে মিস্টার ভালিয়াপ্পান, হি ইজ এ ডেপুটি হেড অফ দ্য স্কুল, অ্যান্ড আমাদের সাথে আছে মিস্টার এলটন হিউ। তো তার আগেই আমি একটু বলে রাখি, সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমরা বেসিক্যালি হচ্ছে ইউকে, অস্ট্রেলিয়া, কানাডা এবং মালয়েশিয়ার ইউনিভার্সিটি গুলো নিয়ে কাজ করে থাকি। সেখানকার অনেকগুলো ইউনিভার্সিটির আমরা সরাসরি রিপ্রেজেন্টেটিভ আমরা কাজ করে থাকি। তো যারা এইসব কান্ট্রি গুলোতে অ্যাপ্লিকেশন করতে চান তারা আমাদের সাথে যোগাযোগ করতে পারেন। আমাদের নাম্বার গুলো লাইভে দেওয়া আছে, সেখানে যোগাযোগ করতে পারেন। আমাদের ইমেল অ্যাড্রেস দেওয়া আছে, সেখানে আপনারা ইমেল করতে পারেন আপনার অ্যাসেসমেন্টের জন্য। So let's start with Mr. Elton. Mr. Elton, please, can you tell us something about your university and introduce Mr. Wali?
Okay, no problem, Saiful. Hi, everyone. My name is Elton. I'm the representative for Swinburne University of Technology, Sarawak campus. I'm glad to be here today, and joining me today here is my colleague, Dr. Vali, the Deputy Head of School and also the Senior Lecturer from Swinburne's School of ICT. Right, and also we are very happy, and it's a great honor to be invited to this WELMS info session today. Saiful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so can you please tell us something about your university, why you are actually one of the best university in Malaysia, and about your campus in Malaysia, something like this?
Yes, sure, no problem. So Swinburne University is an Australian university, which we have our branch campus in Melbourne, Australia. Okay, as of today, we are one of the top ranked university in the world. Currently, we are about at top 3% in the world according to QS World Ranking in 2020. And on top of that, we are also one of the top business schools in the world for our AA CSP accreditation. Now, so a bit of history about Swinburne University is that we are established in 1908 as a technical college, and slowly we became a university back in 1992. And then in 2000, Swinburne University actually decided to open up an offshore campus, and this allows more local students to pursue an Australian education at our home country. So some students might ask us, why we have an offshore campus out of sudden in Malaysia. So that is the reason why we are having it. And since 2000 itself, Swinburne Sarawak actually is a partnership between Swinburne Australia and also the state government of Sarawak. All right, it's a joint venture, or I would say a partnership between these two parties. And Swinburne is actually located, the Malaysia campus is located at Kuching, right, the state of Sarawak in East Malaysia. It's approximately about 1.5 hours flight from KL. And currently we have about 3,500 students from over 45 countries. And for the past 20 years, we have been in in Malaysia. We have already produced about 7,000 graduates alone from this campus.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's go to the topic. Mr. Valliappan, can you please tell us about IT and computer science department of your university, and why is it different from other university? What is actually best part of your courses? Can you please explain?
Right. So Swinburne, we have a computer science program. We have two programs. One is Bachelor of Computer Science. Another is Bachelor of ICT. Right. So these two programs, maybe I can talk to you in detail in later. So direct to your question, like what is the uniqueness over of having these two programs here is like we are more towards industry focused. Right. So at the same time, our programs are being blended more on practical oriented, not focused much on theoretical. Right. So we give the students an opportunity to explore to the real world environment. So that is one of the uniqueness what we have in these two programs, what we are offering in Swinburne Sarawak campus.
Okay. So actually, what kind of teachers are you using to give lecture and their qualifications?
Come again, what is that?
I want to know about the qualification of your teachers who are actually giving lectures to the students.
80% of them are PhD holders in computer science school.
Okay.
PhD in computer science.
Okay. So I have some more questions. So actually, do you have any scholarship for these courses? I think Mr. Elton can give a better answer for this question.
Yes, yes, we do. We do have a scholarship for students, okay, regardless of they want to choose IT, or maybe engineering, business, design, and science subjects, which we offer at Swinburne Sarawak here. We do award scholarships based on their academic achievement. Right. So for foundation, we have a scholarships up to 12,000 ringgit, which is approximately about US dollar 3,000. That is about, I would say about 50% of the scholarship in your foundation based on your achievement. And also we have a degree scholarship, which is up to 10,000 ringgit, which is about 2,500 US dollars. So all this scholarship is actually applicable in the first year of tuition fee. Now, on top of that, for all the 2020 intakes enrollment, all right, application, we have an additional grant of 5,000, which is approximately about US dollar about 1,250. Okay, this is the scholarship. This is a grant that we award for students on top of the scholarships. So this makes it more affordable for students to pursue a quality education at Swinburne, Malaysia here.
That's good. Okay, Mr. Wali, can you actually tell us about your IT and computer related courses? What are the different courses you are offering for the students?
Yes, I can be very brief on that, right? So as I told that we have two programs, Bachelor of Computer Science and Bachelor of ICT. So students must know, students may have a lot of dilemma in making a choice of what is computer science, what is ICT. So that is a very common query most of the students will have in their mind, right? So computer science is the one which I can say that graduates will be speaking to the machines in the language of mathematics, right? So that is more problem solving, right? More in terms of like students will be learning more on the side of like software development, right? How systematically to develop softwares. That is all computer science is about, right? So if they have a very good mathematical skill, I always encourage the students to choose Bachelor of Computer Science as their choice, right? If they are willing to go for Bachelor of ICT, so ICT is Information Communication and Technology, where it is more about like how to use the technology in different domains, right? How to use the technology in different domains in sense like how to use the technology in finance, how to use the technology in banking, how to use the technology in enterprises. So that is what students will be learning, all the fundamentals of how to design a websites, how to design a database, how to say configure a network, how to secure a network, right? So the difference over here is computer science graduates will be a producers in terms of like producing softwares, and ICT graduates will be the consumers, how to use the software, right? So that is how the difference of computer science and ICT over here, the programs what we have here. And if they have been graduating with this any of this program, and if they go to the industries will be asking them, right, what area in computer science are you specialized in, right? Because computer science is a very it's like a very wide area, like too many things are there, like programming, networking, right? So that is where our major comes in. So we have for Bachelor of Computer Science, we have 5 majors which we have been offering for our students, right? And then for Bachelor of ICT, we have 2 majors, right? So what are all the majors in Bachelor of Computer Science? In computer science program, we have software development, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cyber security, data science. These are the 5 majors which we have for Bachelor of Computer Science. In ICT, we have 2 majors, software technology and network technology. All right. So how our program is being, how the program structure is. If a student is being entering into computer science or ICT, they need to complete 24 units. 8 units, we call it as a core units, right? It is common units where students need to take that as a compulsory. And then 8 units will be major. What major? As I told just now, the 5 majors and 2 majors, whichever they choose, according to that, they need to complete that 8 units according to the major. And another 8 units will be elective units. We call it as a free electives. So a student can choose any unit which from any discipline they like, they can choose it. Why we have this option is, if a student is learning a major in cybersecurity and he is very much interested to learn on finance, means he can use that elective to choose the units, and he can have learn some additional skills or knowledge from that free electives. So this is how our structure of program in computer science and ICT or design. So our programs are being aggregated by Australia Computer Society and Malaysian Board of Technologists, MBOT. So we have been well recognized for the program, what we have been offering to the students, right? So I want to brief to the students on the majors in detail. Right. So if a student is willing to take a Bachelor of Computer Science, majoring in software development, means what the student is going to learn in that major. Right. So in this major, it is a very traditional major that has been offered in many of the universities under different names. Some universities, they call it a software engineering. Some they call it a software technology. Right? Some they call it as a computer science itself, right? In software development major, students will be systematically learning how to develop softwares, right? More on a practical approach, not theoretical approach, right? So while they are learning how to develop a software, what is the difference? What type of learning is going to be there? They will be learning how to analyze a problem first, and then how to divide the problems into sub-problems, and then how to design a solution for that. And once they know how to design a solution, then they will be learning what type of programming languages need to be applied for implementation. So the programming languages we covered for the students are up to date, right? So we have been we start with the basic of C programming, and then we move to C#, and then to Java, and then we go for Android, iOS, and currently Python is in demand, so we teach the students Python also, right? So we are trying to keep according to the market trends, right? So once they learn a programming on how to implement the software, then they will be learning how to test the software. After that, they will be learning how to deploy the software. This is how a software development major goes for a student. So the career prospect wise, while they choose the software development major, they can be a software developer. That is a very common job role when most of the countries they have this. It's in very high demand. As we know, in this pandemic situation, the whole world is going through, but still technology plays an important role inside in it. They have been applying a different type of computer science tools and techniques like artificial intelligence, big data, cloud computing, right? All of these things are helping over to reduce the pandemic. So I think for a technology perspective, the career demand for next 10 years is going to be so alive and so fresh, more demanding. So software development major, they can put in their legs in any of the technology field which they want. They can be a solution architect, they can be a system analyst, right? They can be a software tester, they can be a deployment engineer. This is how a career prospect for major in software development goes, right? If a student has a choice of going to another major, which we call it as an Internet of Things, IoT. This is a very new term that has been buzzing around the world, right? What do you mean by this IoT, Internet of Things? It's like how to convert a physical object into a digital object with the help of internet. In layman terms, if I want to tell, that means Internet of Things, which you can see everywhere in our today's world, like your smart TVs, smart washing machines, smart watches. These are all some of the good examples of how Internet of Things has been applied, right? So while they have been learning this Internet of Things, right? So what is the learning curve will be for the students, right? So they will be learning more on the hardware side, how to use the sensors, right? They will be learning on software, on how to write some analytics and prediction programs to make a decision by the machines, and how to store the data which is being collected by the sensor through cloud technologies, right? So these are all the learning curves what the students will be having while they are learning Internet of Things. I can give a lot of good example how our students currently they are learning Internet of Things, right? So we have for each of this program, computer science or ICT, our final year projects, right? So final year projects, we 100% we link the students to the industry and work on them. That is one of the uniqueness of computer science program what we have here, right? So students will be going to the industry and work for them and design the solution for them and come back with the product and explain to the university panels. If the industry happy, if the university panels happy, they are passing with the flying colors. Right. So why I tell this thing is Internet of Things, we have a lot of live projects which our students had experienced on it. So one of the project is smart farming, right? So in Sarawak, we have a farm which we call it as a Satoyama farm. This farm is being like 150 kilometers away from our campus. And the owner of this farm is asking us to come out with a solution for him to improve the yield of the crop. Right. This is a very live project, and there are like more than 15 students have been working on this project. So I'm one of the project lead to take the students to the farm. When we went into the farm, right, student doesn't know anything about farming, and the farmers doesn't know anything about technology. That is where the real world problem, how to solve a technology role, is been coming over there. Right? Students started working on learning the farming practices. What is a traditional farming practice going on in the farm, in the plantation sector, right? So in the farm, the plantation was more on like chili, cucumber, right? These are some of the crops which they have been planted on it. And how to improve the yield? What is the traditional method they use? Is like they take the soil of the plant, they take the soil and they see how much is the moisture. Whether it is being dry means they pour more water and they put fertilizers, right? This is how it works actually. If there is more water, if there is a heavy raining day, for next 2 days, they doesn't water the plants, right? So what our students learn the thing is, right, how to use the technology to support this. They started working on different type of sensors to deploy into the plants. The sensors, what we identified are moisture sensor, rainfall sensor, right? Temperature sensor. Like that, we have multiple sensors we have been identified and we placed in the crop, right? So once we place the sensors, right, we have a farmhouse where we put our server there. And we want to push the data from the sensor that is being near to the crop to the farmhouse. we had a challenge there. The challenge is we cannot get the data because the telecommunication, telco is very poor there. The internet connection is very poor. The signal is poor. And they have a very large, long, very tall trees or interrupting the line of sight, right? And then there was a problem. And the plantation was also very slopey. So we can't get the data. So students started working on it, how to solve the issue. And we found out a device called as LoRa, low power wide area network. This can support nearly 30 to 50 kilometers of internet, 30 kilometers of internet. So we started setting up a multiple gateways of multiple LoRa's. And then from sensors, the data is being pushed to the server with the help of a LoRa gateway. All right. Now in the server, we got the data. But farm is 50 kilometers away from the campus. We can't go every day to the farm and work on it. Students have other units also to study. So what we do is we push the data to the cloud. And then students went to the lab and they started collecting, pulling the data from the cloud, and they start working on writing analytics, algorithms, and programming. What this analytics is going to do? The collected data for the past 10 days on moisture, we keep it, and we write a program to predict the moisture level for next 10 days, right? And this information has been shared to the farm owner. So he make a decision of how much of fertilizer and how much of water he can pour to the plant. Right. And that is where Internet of Things comes in. Students are being learning systematically on how to use the sensors, that is from the hardware side, right? How to use the cloud technology, and then how to write prediction algorithms. So IoT, this is where we taught IoT for the students in a real-time environment. So this is where all IoT is about. This IoT is not only for smart farming or for smart city. Most of the world-class countries are looking for now. IoT is also applied in industries. We call that as a industry IoT, automated decision making by the machines without the presence of the humans, right? By deploying sensors. This is also called as an industry IoT, enterprise IoT. There are a lot of different type of IoTs are being in the market. So we are trying to teach the students all the foundation behind the IoT. So career prospect wise, students can put their legs in electronics or into the software, right?
Okay.
That is on the, yep. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I have some question. You first continue your presentation, then we will ask you later.
Okay, perfect. I'm ready to answer for all the questions, right? Then we have a major, we call it a cyber security. This is a very demanding major in the market, right? As we have been talking about technology in today's current world, right? So while we are depending on technology, right, there are a lot of threats are also there at the back of it, right? Lot of threats, different type of attacks are there, right? Without our knowledge, there is a third eye watching on us, which most of you feel that, right? If you're regularly visiting a website, if you're regularly browsing through some of your banking sites, suddenly a lot of pop-up advertisements will be coming up for you. How do things happen? There are a lot of malwares and spywares without your knowledge that has been installed on the systems, right? So cybersecurity is a major that helps the students to learn how to protect the network from different type of attacks. Attacks can be in the form of a virus, worms, DOS, denial of service attacks, right? Malwares, right? Different type of attacks are there, right? Intrusions, a lot of intrusions are also there, right? We teach the students in a way like how to predict the attacks, how to understand the nature of the attacks, how to write programs. That is what our focus is on for the students, right? How to write programs to predict the attacks, right? So we have a very sophisticated, highly invested, like a 1 million Malaysian ringgit invested lab, cybersecurity lab. We call it as a security operations center, right? This security operations center, We have intrusion response softwares have been installed. So the students can watch live on the number of traffic that is generated around the world, different type of attacks that happens around the world. So we can pick randomly some of the attacks, and we will be working in our lab sessions, right? So students get a new experience on learning cybersecurity. It is a very big area. It's very technical. We can't cover all of the things in cybersecurity. We try to cover as much as possible on the side of like understanding the attacks and predict the attacks, right? And then when you see about cybersecurity learning curve, it doesn't only talks about attacks. Students will be learning on cyber ethics. That is very important, right? Legal practices. If some sort of an attack happens, how a company or organization is going to respond to that legally? If there are people, external attacks are there. There are insider attacks can also be happen, right? If insider threat is there, how organization is going to take some sort of a legal action against the employees? What type of laws are available from government to government, right? These all things will be discussed in this program, in this major. And also students will be learning on forensics, right? A single unit which covers how to track evidences if there is some sort of a harm that has been done with the help of laptops or mobiles or any other type of gadgets. How to track evidences, how to collect evidences, right? So that is one of the part which we are covering for our cybersecurity major, right? The career prospect wise, I can say that cybersecurity is everywhere. There is a lot of demand over there. Every country, they have their own demand, right? In terms, they need a lot of security specialists, security experts, right? Programmers, software programmers, right? Network specialists. All of these things are being covered in our cybersecurity major. So the job prospect is being very demanding, right? And that is our third major. And the fourth one is data science. So this is a major, again, has a lot of demand in terms like what is a data science is actually about. So we have been, we heard about in every day about big data, right? When we have a huge volume of a data, we call that as a big data, right? So we have, which are the companies, they have a big data. Every company cannot have a big data. So like companies like Facebook, Amazon, Twitter, where they have like millions of customers are there for them. Every day they are posting tags, they have been posting audios, videos, a large amount of files are there. This we call it as a big data. And medium companies and small companies, they have a lot of data. The data are raw, they are unstructured. And how to use this data and make some constructive decisions for improving the business. This is where data science is going to be covered, right? So what we are covering in our data science major is, so we are covering for our students more on statistics and machine learning techniques, right? How to make decisions by the data what we have, right? So how to make decisions, how to find insights, how to find patterns, how to find anomalies, how to find abnormalities, right? And how to improve the business. So for an example, an automobile company, which has been running for 10, 15 years, but it doesn't have much production, it doesn't have much sales on it, right? So a company has a lot of data. They can use a data scientist to look into the data, and they can filter and find out how was the sales for past 10 years, how will be the sales for next 5 years, right? They can put trends, they can come out with patterns and trends, so they can have some sort of a roadmap for them to make decisions, right? So that is where our data science major, we will be covering for our students in terms like data analytics, data visualization, how to visualize the data, what do you have in the companies, right? And how to use machine learning. So that is where a data science major is being covered. When we see the career prospect for a data scientist, right? So they can be a machine learning specialist. Again, they can be a software developer, specialized in data science work, right? So a lot of overlapping will be there in some of the majors, but they have some uniquenesses over there. I want to highlight that also, right? And then we have our last major in Bachelor of Computer Science, which has been offered is Artificial Intelligence, right? So the demand for AI has been every day, it has been getting more and more popular. As we know, during this pandemic situation, how artificial intelligence have helped the countries to make decisions in terms of like reducing the virus spread, to track the people who are being quarantined, right? And they use geospatial mapping and all of this techniques to identify the people where they move in, and also they use computer vision techniques to scan the body temperature in contactless, right? So AI has been helping in a lot of areas in current crisis time, and in next 10-20 years it will be ruling the world. There is no doubt in it. So many experiments have been going on there. If you say, like, if you have your supercomputers there and if you have AI machines over there, means now they have started working with a lot of AI algorithms to find the drug molecules to reduce this pandemic situation, right? So a lot of things are happening with AI. Is a very big area, but what we are teaching in the major for our students is we are teaching different types of machine learning algorithms, right? Different types of machine learning algorithms in terms of like how to recognize a face, how to recognize the iris, right? How to recognize a voice recognition, speech recognition. So all of these techniques, what type of algorithms is being used. For an example, one of the projects which we have been doing with our students is like computer aided diagnosis software for doctors. That is where AI is playing an important role in it, right? So what is the project is all about is like, if a doctor want to see an X-ray and want to find out where the abnormality, where the tumor is located, means it may take several checking process. Radiologist will verify and then he will pass it to the second radiologist to confirm. And third radiologist will again confirm and then he will pass it to the doctor to reduce this false positive and false negative, right? So where the software comes in is, so our students have designed a software in terms like to, once the X-ray is being scanned and it is being digitalized, the software will works on it to read the location of the tumor, where it is located, and it will assist the doctors to say that whether tumor is present or not, right? So that is where artificial intelligence is all about. In terms like, we are not replacing the doctors for this project, we are assisting the radiologists and doctors. So this AI software act as a second reader, right? Second reader to make decisions. All right. So AI job prospect wise, again, similar like software development major, the same set of a job is being applicable over there, but student graduate can say that they're specialized in artificial intelligence, right? These are all the majors what we have for Bachelor of Computer Science, right? If a student feel that, if there is a lot of technical, a lot of students may feel like programming has been a little bit of a difficult for them, right? So I won't say that programming is a very interesting, every student need to have a literacy in coding, whoever been having a passion in computer science, because that creates a lot of problem solving skills, critical thinking. These are all very important for our students who have a passion in computer science. That is being embedded in all of our units, what we are teaching for our students, right? So while a student is taking a Bachelor of ICT, right? So if they choose a major in software technology, right? So it is a little bit a diluted version from computer science. There is no much technical things over there, but students will be learning a lot of different technological skills in this program, Bachelor of ICT. While they choose software technology, it is similar to the software development major, but they won't be learning a lot of technical programming skills. They have the very important technical programming skills like Android, right? Java, right? And then C# will be taught for them, right? And addition to that, they will be learning other technology tools like configuring networks, designing websites using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right? And then how to secure the network. So they're leaving additionally, apart from software major, they will be learning all the IT core things, which is quite important for the industry, right? So that is for our Bachelor of ICT in Software Technology major. And then if a student has a passion in networking, a lot of students have a passion in networking, right, compared to software. The thing is, the reason is like networking is also been an equally importance for a graduates, which they need to know about it in this market, because without a network infrastructure, IT infrastructure, nothing can be built over to do anything on the system side. So students will be learning their networking skills through Cisco, right? Cisco is one of the world top network device manufacturers. So we have been partnered with Cisco Academy Malaysia, right? So our curriculum is embedded with Cisco. Whoever students take networking major, they need to learn the Cisco curriculum. We have a very well established Cisco networking lab aggregated by Cisco, right? We have routers, we have switches, highly configured routers and switches up to date. Every year we have a check with Cisco on the latest updates. We are not using any old hardware routers, right? And students, while they are taking network major, they need to go through Cisco online assessment. Once they pass the Cisco online assessment, then only they are passing the unit, right? At the same time, while they pass this online assessment, they are eligible to sit for Cisco Certified Network Administration exam, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. So they need to go for any special training. Everything is already been covered in the curriculum, right? So that is how students learn in network technology. Career prospect wise, they can be a network engineer, system administrator, right? Network administrator or a system administrator, right? So that's been like they will be learning more or less on how to handle the routers, switches, how to configure the network, how to assign IP addresses. All of these things are taught for the students in the networking major, right? So that is about our two programs with what majors which we have been having, right? And how we are teaching for our students in this two program is most of our units are portfolio based, right? Students will be learning on more practical oriented rather than learning theories. Computer science doesn't encourage, we can't have more theories in computer science, right? We need to have a lot of real world experiences, right? So that is where the reason of our final year projects are being linked with the industry. So 100% students are being linked with industry. So during that industry link, apart from development of software, students will be having experience on a lot of interpersonal skills, learning some interpersonal skills. What is this interpersonal skills all about? Communication, confidence, right? Critical thinking. All of these things are being learned throughout this process. While they meet industry people, while they analyze a problem, right? They need to be very confident and they need to communicate with them in terms to negotiate on the problems. So that is where their skills are being measured throughout the course. And we feel that once they finish a 1 year of project in computer science and a 6 months of a project in ICT, we feel like they are capable to face the industry, right? It's very successful. Most of our students are being recruited by the companies which they offered them the projects. So that is one of the strength of having our FIPs as a uniqueness for this program, right? So that is all about our two programs. I'm ready to answer for your questions.
Another courses joined with robotics, right?
Yeah,
computer science
that
and
is.
robotics. How that benefited to the students?
Yes, we have a 5 years course that is of computer science and software, a bachelor of computer science specialized in software and robotics and mechatronics, right? So it's a 5 years. So students will be the students will be learning more on the engineering skills. So the learning curve will be more on electronics, embedded programming, digital logics. In addition to that, they will be learning softwares also. So they are going to be like if they can put their choice, they can switch their choices to be a software engineer or a robotic engineer. And the career prospects can be in a semiconductor industry or in a software industry. They can put their legs in robotic process automation or in software automation, right? So that is how the difference goes over here.
So what are the courses you are offering for the master's level?
Masters, we are not, we are working on papers now on Master of IT specialized in data science and cybersecurity in coursework mode. So we are working on the papers. Hopefully everything will be settled because of this crisis time, things have been delayed. By start of next year, we'll be offering this MIT program. If students are interested in masters still in computer science, we have our Master of Science Research in Computer Science. We have, as I told, that 80% of our lecturers are qualified with PhDs, so they are capable of supervising the students in different specializations in artificial intelligence, data science, or in genetic algorithms, bioinformatics, health informatics. But that is more towards on research side, right? So that is duration is 2 years and maximum 3 years.
Okay, I'm coming to you again.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Elton.
Yep.
There are some students actually who want to study in Australia, but at this moment, at this pandemic situation, I don't think until September they are actually recruiting students for the Australian branch or Australian any other universities. So I think the advantage is they can choose Swinburne Malaysia, and they can go to Malaysian campus, and they can also transfer after 1 or 2 years to the Australian campus, right? So
Yes, you're right.
please tell us about the actually transfer options and advantage of study in Malaysian campus.
Okay, basically we have two options for students. Okay, so one is actually the transfer options, where actually, so we have two actually, transfer and exchange program. Now we do have a transfer, meaning to say that everything because transfer program allows students to transfer everything after 1 or 2 years of the studies. Once they have done with their 1 or 2 years, they transfer everything to Australia. All right. Now, the good thing is that it allows students to actually experience both campuses. Now, one in Malaysia and one in Australia. All right. But of course, when they transfer everything to Australia, they will have to pay everything away. Of course, their tuition fee will be based on Australian dollars. Okay. Now, another one is exchange program. So students, let's say, for example, sir, I wanted to go to Australia, but of course, I do not have that budget to go to Australia, because going to Australia might be for some might be a luxury thing to do, right? But still, they want to get an experience of how does the lifestyle in Australia. Maybe when I graduate, I want to go there, or maybe I just want to try out Australian experience. They can actually opt for the exchange program. Now, exchange program means to say that they will do 1 semester in Australia, in our Melbourne campus, but pay Malaysia ringgit here. The tuition fee will be Malaysian ringgit, and then they'll go to Australia and they finish off 1 semester. Then after that, they will come back to Malaysia here and continue the remaining semesters. So these are the two options that students have. So just now you're asking me that what is the advantage of me, studying in Malaysia rather than Australia? I would say one of the main reasons Malaysia is because I would say the affordable fees that we have in our campus, in the Malaysia campus, because our fees is about I would say 1/3 of the price compared to Australia. Right, it's 3 times cheaper or more affordable compared to our Australia campus. So students can actually save the money a budget, a little bit of their money, so they can study here in Malaysia. Then after that, they transfer everything to Australia. Right.
Okay.
Another one is, I would say, that location. Okay. Another way is that Malaysia is quite near to Bangladesh. It's about 4 hours flight, all right, from Kuala Lumpur, and an additional 1.5 hours flight from Kuala Lumpur to Kuching here. So I would say it's much more nearer. So students, when they come for the semester break, they can actually go back easily. Yes. Another main reasons I would say that choosing Malaysia is another good option for Bangladeshi students, because we all know that Malaysia is a Muslim country. So for students to come here to settle down, getting familiar with the food, and because the main concern for Bangladeshi students come here is whether can I adapt, the lifestyle here, and how's the food here. So I would say that it's actually quite easy to settle down in Malaysia, especially for Bangladeshi students, because like Fridays we do observe Friday prayers, and Bangladesh as well. So it's similar. I would say Malaysia and Bangladesh is almost likely to be similar. So students can get it very easily to settle down here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go to the question answering session. স্টুডেন্ট, আপনাদের যদি আরো কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে আপনারা কোশ্চেন করতে পারেন। আমরা অনেকগুলো কোশ্চেন অলরেডি পেয়েছি, সেগুলো আনসার দিব। এর মাঝখানে আপনাদের কোশ্চেন থাকলে করুন, আমরা এর মধ্যে আনসার দেওয়ার চেষ্টা করব। So first question we have got is from Mr. Tabib. He want to know what is the speciality of IT program in Swinburne. I think you have already discussed it, but you can answer it shortly actually.
Yes. What I have already mentioned is like our IT program more specialized on industry focused, which I was been highlighting throughout the briefing of the majors, right? And there is nothing much more focused on theories. We are more on the side of a practical, right? Practicals, and then students really have a feel of experiencing on learning towards the real world environment.
Okay. So Shahara want to know, do you guys have transfer program to Australia for masters?
Okay, as I mentioned just now, we do have transfer program for students. Okay, but for master's program, because master's program, it depends on what master's program you're going for. Okay, so for masters of MBA particularly, normally I think masters we don't encourage students to go do transfer because of the shorter duration of time. You see, we don't really encourage, but if they want to do transfer, yes, it's possible as well.
Okay. So Edina want to know the type of the university. Is it private or public funded university?
Good question. Okay, for Swinburne University, for Malaysia campus, I would say that we are actually, I would say, half private and half semi-government. All right, so it's because of the joint venture of, say, partnership between the Swinburne Australia and also the state government of Sarawak. All right, so since we are actually like half private and half government university, so that is the reason why our fees is, I would say, is quite affordable compared to other universities in Malaysia.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. She also wanted to know the language requirements in courses.
Okay, so it depends on which course that you want to go for. Okay, so if you are going for foundation studies, all right, which is usually through SSC or O levels entry requirement, all right, if let's say students get O or A levels, they do not need any IELTS. Okay, no English requirement. The English requirement is that you need to get at least C or B in your O and A levels. Right. Now, assuming that most of the Bangladeshi students will actually get SSC and HSC, all right, for foundation, it will be 5.5 for IELTS, right? No individual band lower than 5.0. Okay, whereas for undergraduate program, it will be 6.0, no individual band lower than 6.0. And for master's program, normally it's 6.5 with no individual band lower than 6.0. Right? That is the English requirement that is set in before students can enter into our English language. Enter into our course. Now, if students they do not achieve the certain score, let's say I score, I want to go degree, I score 6.0, but one of my score get 5.5. So does it mean that I can't enter? No, normally you still can enter, It's just that we need you to send in your results for us to do a further evaluation. Then from there, we will advise you. Either students will have to take additional English subject in their current degree, or they will have to go for an English course before entry into our degree. Yeah.
So at this moment, IELTS exam is not actually taking. They're not taking any exams. So all exams are held. So how can student actually apply? How can they fulfill the language requirements at this moment?
Okay, so I understood now the complications of sitting for IELTS in Bangladesh is a bit restricted right now. All right, there's no IELTS centers open for IELTS exams. So students can have another option, which is to sit our internal Bursan English Placement Test, which we call BEPT. Right, this exam is actually conducted at WELM's office. Okay, you can also do it in our authorized partner's office. So one student actually did this exam, so they will get their scores within 1 or 2 working days. Then from there, we will actually know whether they can actually get into our degree, or should they need any English courses or English subject in part of the degree or in the foundation program.
So Sahara want to know which is the next available intake student can apply now.
For which program that they're talking?
She didn't mention that.
Didn't
But her previous question was about for masters.
Okay, so for master's program, our intake is basically in, let me check here. For masters is May. We have another one coming out in May. All right, but of course, if this is too rush for students, they can always go for the August or the November. All right, okay. But for degree or foundation, we have a new intake which is in June. All right, it starts in 3rd of June. So if students who wants to go for the June intake, they can actually submit their application right now. Okay, and if they think that June is a bit quite rush for them, they can always consider the next intake, which is on September and also October as well. This is for foundation, right? For the degree, it's the same, September and October. Yeah.
Okay. So what are the supports actually you are providing at this situation for the students? And some students already got visa, cannot move to the Malaysia. How you are supporting them?
Okay, so for the time being right now, so some students who are actually going for June or going for the previously April intake, so of course I understood that some students has been affected, right? So what we are doing is that we are going to online learning right now. Okay, so I think I will just pass more information. I will just pass this to Dr. Vali to explain how do the schools conduct online learning for the time right now.
Yeah.
Vali?
Yeah. So we are using our learning management tool, which we call it as Canvas, right? So this is the tool which we have been using it for our current online learning purpose, to teach, to upload the videos, right? To upload the lecture materials, to upload the assessments, and also we can also have a discussion forums in that, and then based on that we can also grade the assessments by using that Canvas tool. So Canvas, we have implemented this Canvas in 2019, before this crisis started itself, and it is very, very helpful and useful for us. And our students are also well adopted to this this online learning environment tool, right? Apart from that, we also have virtual classrooms, right? And also we have a mode of synchronous mode and asynchronous mode of learning method is also been applicable for the students, in terms of live sessions happens in the synchronous mode, and pre-recorded lecture videos are uploaded in asynchronous mode. If our students move back to their countries anytime according to the different time zones, they can view the lecture slides, lectures materials, right? And laboratory for computer science, that is another challenge. So what we have done is, like, we have already have a team viewer software, so where it supports our students to remotely access the labs, right? And currently students are working on their assignments by using the team viewer software, I think like students already we have five weeks have gone. Students are well adopted to the online environment, so there won't be much issues in that, I feel.
Okay,
Yeah.
so they can actually attend their class from home by using your technology.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so for the next session also, for the June session also, if student cannot move to the Malaysia, so they can continue their classes from home and move to the Malaysia before September session, right?
The direction is for now is that students can do it in the doing in home, right now in home country for the June intake for foundation. So once they have done everything online, so because international students, we need to apply for their visa. Okay, so it requires some time as well. All right. So once the visa has been approved and everything has been done, then only students can come in for the September intake. Yes. So the advantage of students joining the June intake and the September intake is that June intake students can actually finish their foundation before February. So once they're done in February, then they can move into degree in March. So basically, they only take about 8 months to study, okay, rather than a year. Right? For September intake, they will finish the studies at probably around end of June, right? And then they will start the studies in beginning of September or end of August for the degree.
Yes, so we don't have any more questions. We will close the session in few minutes. So if you want to say something for the students, Mr. Wali.
Yep, if they are interested in computer science programs and if they have more queries, I'm willing to support for them. If they are willing to join in Swinburne computer science program and during this pandemic, this crisis situation, still we are ready to support the students in all terms to create a very comfortable environment for them, right? As they have been feeling like how they have experience in the face-to-face, a similar set of experience has been we are trying to provide for the students. So we are willing to, Swinburne Sarawak is willing to support the students in all terms during this crisis time also. That's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Wali. And Mr. Elton, do you want to say something?
Yes, I think to add on for all this, I mean to add on Dr. Wali's message is that also that I think that a lot of students right now are still curious or still do not know where they want to go. I think it is the best time for them to take this opportunity to actually approach WELMS, right, to understand what is their career progression or what are the subjects or courses that they want to do. Because I know that there are a lot of courses apart from, of course, IT is something that is growing right now in Bangladesh, but of course there are also students who are very curious about other subjects, other courses, that offer at Swinburne. So I do encourage you to take this opportunity to understand and to do some research on what do you want to do in your future, right? Because I would say that this years of studies, 4 to 5 years of studies is just like a blink of an eye. It's quick, fast, So it's best for you to make the right decision right now, and to talk to someone who are really professional in this area. Yeah.
Thank you so much. তো ডিয়ার স্টুডেন্টস, আপনারা মোটামুটি অনেক বেশি ইনফরমেটিভ একটা সেশন ছিল। তো সেখান থেকে আপনারা অবশ্যই আপনাদের আনসার গুলো পেয়ে গিয়েছেন এবং আসলে অনেক বেশি ডিসক্রাইব করা হয়েছে বিভিন্ন সেগমেন্ট গুলো নিয়ে। তো যারা আইটি কম্পিউটার সায়েন্স রিলেটেড বিভিন্ন সাবজেক্ট গুলো নিয়ে পড়তে চাচ্ছেন বাট আপনারা ডিফারেন্স গুলো জানেন না সাবজেক্ট টু সাবজেক্ট, এই ভিডিও থেকে আপনারা মানে মোটামুটি আপনাদের সবগুলো কোশ্চেন আনসারে পেয়ে যাবেন। সো আই থিঙ্ক ইট উইল হেল্প ইউ টু ডিসাইড মোর ইজিলি। তো আমরা আজকে আর কন্টিনিউ করব না। আপনাদের আরো যদি কোনো কোশ্চেন থাকে আমাদের নাম্বার দেওয়া আছে, সেখানে ফোন করতে পারেন। আমাদের ইমেল অ্যাড্রেস গুলোতে আপনারা অ্যাসেসমেন্টের জন্য ইমেল করতে পারেন। সো থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ বোথ অফ ইউ। উই আর ভেরি প্লিজড টু হ্যাভ ইউ হিয়ার and it was very wonderful and very informative session. I hope we will get more sessions from you like this.
Thank you, Saiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saiful.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Take care.